Amazing audience, we are live with Jessie Sutherland. Yeah. Jessie passed by to have a conversation. We are at the amazing, the beautiful, you'll hear me say beautiful throughout the day today. The beautiful Jean K has offered us an amazing spot.
Definitely.
Right, to have these
Incredible.
conversations. And Jessie's passed by, and here we go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. It's just gorgeous.
It is. If you had to connect your talents to say which of them is responsible for us connecting today, which would you say it is?
Good question. I would say my passion for building a sense of connection and community. I love meeting new people and sharing ideas.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I was born.
I love that. Yeah, so tell me more. How do you do it?
How do I do it? How do
Yeah.
I connect people and create a sense of belonging? Well, I believe that I believe in human dignity, and that different things in the world has it's like splotching mud on people. Different experience sort of take away people's sense of dignity. So my focus is always around first restoring dignity, because different people have been pushed on the margins or pushed out for a variety of different reasons and circumstances. So I always look at each individual I meet. Like when I look at you right now, I look at your inherent human dignity. And I'm interested in your voice, because you are the only one who's had your unique set of experiences and your unique vision on the world, and we need that voice and we need that vision. So I see it's about restoring everyone's sense of dignity and voice, but really when we do that, we all benefit, because everyone has this incredible gift.
Yeah.
It's going to make the world better, but it's just creating the space to do that.
Yeah.
So if I miss out on talking to you, I actually miss out on a unique window into the world that will completely enrich my life.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's how I feel as well. So how do you bring that to market? What is the day job, or what is the way you get this out into the world?
Well, my work up to date has always been working with the so-called most marginalized people. I don't like those kind of words, because really when people talk about the hard to reach, it's actually the people saying the hard to reach are the ones that are hard to reach. There's bureaucracies to try. You have to go into a boardroom that's uncomfortable for the majority of people. There's all sorts of reasons why the majority of people find them hard to reach. But typically I've worked with nonprofits who are interested in building a sense of belonging, and through that working together to address whatever the social problem is: housing, poverty, the opioid crisis, whatever it happens to be. And I'm at this stage now where I'm looking at ways to bring all those talents of building really robust cultures of belonging into a variety of sectors. So I'd love it to be, my juicy goal is that I've got it down for the nonprofits. I'm getting it down for municipal governments. I really want to be working in terms of libraries, community rec centers, people that interface with the public, and shift that. My absolute vision is to also start working with social enterprise corporations, that credit unions, and have a neighborhood approach where everyone is working together to build a culture of belonging.
That's beautiful. Well, where's the best place for people to connect with you who are listening?
My website,
Right.
interculturalstrategies.com.
All right.
Yeah.
ICS, Intercultural Strategies.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
It's
All right.
sweet.
All
It
right.
is.
Yes, it definitely is. Yeah.
It is.
That's wonderful.
We are.
Who did you learn that from, though? That ability to connect communities, parents, aunts, cousins.
Well, I actually just did a TED Talk that was released that gets into that. I believe it's been a lifelong journey, so this is my unique offering to the world, and I believe everyone has a unique offering, so I've been figuring it out over the years. My birth mother hid her pregnancy and came out to BC, and gave me up for adoption, but I was put into foster care, and it was not a good situation. So from the first moment I was born, I felt pushed out, and so I was eventually adopted after foster care, and so I've been honing my belonging lens and skills my whole life.
Yeah.
I had a yearning for understanding the world from a very young age, and so as soon as high school was over, I got 4 jobs, 1 full-time, 3 part-time,
Wow.
saved my money and traveled across Canada, lived in Europe and traveled all over Europe, and then hitchhiked to Morocco and in the Middle
Hitchhike.
East. Yeah, and hung out in the Middle East for a substantial amount of time, learned Arabic, Syria, Sudan, Egypt,
Wow.
a whole bunch of countries. When I came back, so that opened my world to all sorts of politics and intercultural experiences. And then when I came back, I briefly went to college for a little bit and then worked in West Africa, and that was a big turning point. I arrived in West Africa when the day Nelson Mandela was freed from prison, and the whole
Wow.
continent was vibrating. People were so excited, they wouldn't even stop to tell us why there's a party. Like, Bamako was just insanity. It was just like, woo! So it took a few hours to even find out that Nelson Mandela, but we were just so excited because everyone was
Yeah.
excited.
You're saying we though.
I went with a group of Canadian young volunteers, and I was placed in a village, and I worked with women there. And while I was there, I was so disillusioned by international development. I was like, why are they sending a young Canadian to go help these amazing Malian women who know way more about their own lives than I do?
Yeah.
And when I came back to Canada, so I was disillusioned for a variety of reasons. People dying because there wasn't, the World Bank paying for a paved road for their diplomats and corporations between Bamako and Senegal. But people in the village I was living dying because of the floods, because there was no good walk pathways, let alone pavement. And then also seeing, when I came back to Canada, was, I don't know if you're aware of the Oka crisis. It was an armed standoff between an Indigenous group and Canada. And I was like, what am I doing? Gallivanting around the world when my own backyard needs to be cleaned up. And not sure if how much people know this, but Canada's reserve system was based on the apartheid system. So it just didn't make sense to me what was going on in the world, and that I was just gallivanting around and possibly contributing to the same problem, that I would hoped that in restoring people's dignity, we restore their worldview and we value their gifts. So me being part of imposing a European Western framework on anyone is counter to what I truly believe. So it's just been piecemeal, so everything has sort of led one to another. So I worked in this area for many decades around Indigenous and non-Indigenous relationship building. And as that happened, it grew into more working with refugees and newcomers and seniors and youth and people with disabilities. And then at a certain point, I realized that relationships are most effective when you do the work in the same neighborhood. So I focused neighborhood by neighborhood. So I believe cultures of belonging are built with each other, and it's neighborhood by neighborhood, community of people by community of people, organization by organization. So it's really been, there's been lots of people that have informed this, but in terms of building it, it's been trial and error over the years.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Wow, folks. She's amazing, isn't she? Let's switch gears.
Okay.
Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm blue Caribbean water.
Oh,
What
do I
is
get a plane ticket?
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, well, my parents had beautiful property on this gorgeous island called Galiano Island, just off the coast here. And I have this memory, there's a rock on the beach, like one of those large rocks, where I would go up and sit. And you could look across the ocean to another island. And I have this memory that comes back to me my whole life of just the incredible beauty. And I just was like, wow, there's something more to life than we see immediately. And so my memory, I often go back to that memory of that. That's where home is to me, that sense of oneness with all of creation. That was the feeling I had, quite young. And
how old were you?
5? maybe 7. I'm not really sure, but I was definitely quite young, and it was this yearning to know more about the world. And yeah.
Can you connect that memory to who you are today?
Yeah, that's what it's a memory I constantly go back to. That's sort of, even now, if I hit troubled waters in my life, I go back to that rock, either in my mind or I get on a boat and I go back to that rock.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind? Yeah, the importance of the anchor.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the anchor being the rock. I mean, in different religions, the rock represents God, right? And how necessary it is to have that anchor be before you envision. It's a fascinating painting to see, if you would, where someone is sitting on a rock and it looks small, and they have the opportunity to visualize what they want to achieve. But it's very fascinating to see the picture be the rock that looks so small but is so incremental for everything. And to see what you've done by always going back to that rock in your memory is beautiful.
Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
Great interpretation.
It's fascinating. Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh my gosh, I didn't listen to music. Free to Be Me, whatever. I was listening to Free to Be You and Me a lot.
Okay.
I don't know if you know it. It's
an
American thing. It was the sort of at the time the feminist children's song about equality and.
It connects though.
Yeah. The
words of the song in terms of who you are.
Yeah.
Free to be me and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
High five. All right. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Have you, Jessica, chosen... Did I say Jessica? Jessie.
Yeah.
Right? Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Oh.
Yes or no?
You mean one person or many people?
It could be anyone.
I have chosen in this last phase of my life to pass on my skills to as many people as
All right.
possible.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Barely. Some days barely less than 8, but definitely less than 8.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Jessie Sutherland, what would you say that is?
We belong.
I love it.
All of creation, all of humanity. There is space for all of us to be. We need all of us to be truly ourselves.
Yeah, love it. This is a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I can't wait to have a conversation about him. I'd like to turn this around right now and do this about him. And this is incredible light. I don't know if you've ever seen. Come here.
Get in here.
Come on! You get to hide behind there. Come on. Look at this room. This incredible light.
Jessie Sutherland.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
This is a great pleasure. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. Boom! Did you have fun?